Oof. That is a big drop. Okay. So RR. Don't know what's going on with that, but sign into chat. Get rid of that. Bring this over here. Hit play. RRR just moved up 63 to 63 cents on the option call. Come on. What is my internet doing? I got other things I have to worry about here. So on a 1 minute chart, looks like it's crowning. It's free ride up. That's definitely what you want. It's still moving. I don't see any reds, so no reason to think that it's coming down anytime soon. And I swear we're gonna have our music back here shortly. There it is. All right. ENBL hovering around 70 cents, bouncing between 68 and 0.73. RRR now up to 0.63 on our option call. These are all ending on May 21st. So we got to start looking for reasons to get out of them, or at least start partialing out of them so we can get back in on longer calls, because I don't think that they're done running. And so I want to make sure I get in on a good price, but I want to catch it before it drops. So today we're mostly just going to be looking at the option calls to see if whether or not they're going to drop in price, and if we need to find an exit point to get out of them. And so I'm going to close this one because it's not doing anything for me. Let's go ahead and get, I don't know what they're doing. Let's change this up. Let's see. Thanks for rejoining me. Sorry about that. Internet is not cooperating with me today. I don't know what's going on with it. Trying to get my charts to load. I really need to take a look at ENBL and ET. Good Lord. Portfolio is up to 94 or 947 from 500. About to hit the double digits or the doubles. Just waiting for my internet. Wow. Okay, I've got cable going, got everything running. Can't get my Thinkorswim to work. I'm gonna shut this down. It's obviously having issues. I'm gonna restart it. It's probably gonna error out first time. There it goes. It's installing an update, I guess. This thing is being very erratic, and I need to really get going on trying to isolate what's going on with it. I'm kind of flying in the dark right here, and I don't like it. So let's go to a 1 minute on trading view. I'm gonna drag this over. Let me just switch cameras here. All right. So this is a 1 minute chart on trading view on enable. Looks like it's got your, let's see, that's your buyer's climax. It's bouncing. So you got 1, 2. You got one more bounce. This might start coming down to correct itself from its gap up. but it's so early in the day, I don't think that's really going to be a problem. It's going to rebound back up and go strong. Um, that's the problem with looking at a smaller chart, is it's really deceiving on what you actually see. This is just a 1 minute chart is just a smaller movement. It's basically, if you're looking at like on a hourly chart, a 1 minute chart is the dip. So a massive move going down on a 1 minute chart is just the dip off of one of these bounces. And that's what you're kind of looking at. Is it's not even that really, it's much smaller than that. It's just one candle of going down. Because it's going to take 60 1 minute candles to make an hour. Alright, so you're basically looking at the whole move over 60 candles. So it's kind of maybe too tight to look at. I've got what? Let's break it down. Let's see. We got until 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 hours we got to look at. So if I'm really going to get a gauge on what's going to happen throughout the day, then I should be looking at a... Let's see, in a normal move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 3, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Alright, so let's say there's 36 candles in a full move, right? For the day. And so I got 6 hours. Let's get my calculator here. Alright, so we got 6 hours times 60 minutes divided by 36 is 10. So we should be looking at a 10-minute chart, which they don't offer on TradingView. It's fucking my life. You can look at a 15, which is what I normally look at anyways. But kind of getting that information in slow there. So I need to get my Thinkorswim up. Is this ready for password here? Yep. We have initializing. Sorry if I'm a little out of sorts, but I'm just trying to get my bearings on what I should be doing for the day. I've not really been in this position before, so now I've got to kind of figure it out the way that I would figure it out. What's natural for me? What's my spidey sense telling me, if you will. I do need to check out some of these other ones still too. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to switch this to a 10-minute chart. So we're going to do, let's do 20 days, and then let's do it at 10 minutes. Boom. Let's make that a favorite. Come on now. And I'll pull this down. Let me switch. You're actually looking at it. That's my tick chart over there. Where is my... Oh, there it is. Alright. We're getting somewhere. Promise. I'm gonna knock these things out because we don't need to look at those. Okay. Get these small. Alright, so this is how we should be looking at the market. Let's zoom in on this. Alright, so what you're looking at is this big mess here, is all these different Bollinger Bands are on different time frames. And so they're all Fibonacci numbered out, and it goes teal, then purple, then gold, then gray, and then white. And I know that it's a big mess there, but you see them all converging in the same area at the top here. That means it's looking to solidify all of them at once so that it can come down and hit the bottom ones. And the bottom ones are spaced out, so it shows you how far down it can go once it decides that it's going to go down. And so that's Amazon. I don't want to look at Amazon. I want to look now. So right now, ENBL is the breadwinner because I have the most option calls in it. And we have a big gap up here. And so, all right, so it's set up to go parabolic. I don't know if it will. There's some red candles forming right here coming down. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come down. It could just be filling in the gap right here as well. So we're looking for some type of support that it needs to find. And on a 10-minute chart, let me see if I got my right here. There's my 10-minute chart right there. On a 10-minute chart, this is how it's spaced out throughout the day. So we should be able to see a full move complete by the end of the day off of this chart right here. And if this is the buyer's climax right here, this is the correction, the pull down to the midway point of this candle for fair market trading. This is what institutional buying has to do whenever they manipulate a trade. And this big green candle obviously is their manipulation. So this is going to come down and fill in this gap right here, or maybe even come partially down into here, and then turn around and go right back up. But that's going to be considered your last point of structure, I'm guessing. I don't think that they skipped over that, because either that or this is the last point of structure and this is the buyer's climax. And if that's the buyer's climax, then this is about to come down. It's going to go into distribution. So it has 3 times to break out of this high right here. So we're going to go ahead and tie it, put in a, we're going to put it at the base right here. This is the area that needs to be broken in for it to keep going up. And if it can't break that area in 3 bounces, then it's going to come pouring down. And so what we want to do is we want to get out of this contract before it starts come pouring down, but we also want to give it a chance to break through. So we got a turn down here. It's going to turn back up. Hopefully it's going to break through, find support, and bounce up from there. But if it doesn't, it's going to turn back down again and then go back up. And then on that one, it's going to either try to tap this exactly at the same height and then turn down and just distribute to go back to lower, cheaper prices, and probably end the day down there. I imagine it's probably going to take all 36 candles to complete this out, and so that's why we have it spaced out the way that we have it spaced out on a 10-minute chart. At least that's what the voices are telling me. So that's how we're going to look at it for the day. And right now it is on a downturn. I probably should have dropped 2 contracts up here already, but it's fine because it's going to come back up. We got 3 tries here, and so we're just going to see it's already starting to come back on this one here. So we'll see if this comes rallying back up. Let's take a look at ET. It's also on a nosebleed trajectory. It looks like it's doing the exact same thing. So I need to kind of put in some type of option to get out of this one as well. I've got 10 of these, and so I need to kind of look at it and see where I have them set to. Sell 3, sell 2 to close. Let's look at the value of it right now. It's at 65 cents right now. So I need to adjust that. So let me get this back up. Monitor. I want to close this.
Hi, I'm calling to schedule a
Cancel.
Indeed knows unexpected employee turnover can turn your business upside down.
Okay,
Like at Sumita's online chai
so look at
company,
a
to avoid
chart.
back orders,
It
she
looks
needs to
like
get
it's going to
started
come
hiring
back up.
money right away.
I want to sell when it
Indeed you
hits.
do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75
These are
credit for your
looking
first
strong
sponsored
right
job
now.
post. Terms and conditions apply.
ENBL. It's just so much going on. I need like 3 different charts.
A disposable razor this epic only comes around once a century. Introducing Chic Original.
See how it's going down
A
on the tick
dependable,
chart? You can't
tested,
see it. Let me
tough
switch cameras
disposable
here.
razor that
There's
taps
just
into
so much
100
going on.
years of Chic's
So
expertise. It's got
EMBL,
4
they're all in the same
titanium-coated
position,
blades,
and
a
so
loop
it's
strip,
getting,
and an
I
easy
guess I
grip
could just
handle for one heck of a good
calculate on
shave
one and
at an
take action on
incredible
all of them
price.
at the same time.
Available in both
But
4 and 8
on
count
this right
packs.
here, it's
Get
riding
yours
the lower
today.
Bollinger Band coming
Exclusively
down
at your
like
local
this,
Walmart.
which is a healthy thing. That's what you want whenever it looks like a dragon kind of like shape. We want this dragon, like if you look at the Bollinger Band, this is the head here, the forehead, this is the snout, and the teeth are down on the bottom here. You want it to ride low and then bounce and come back up. And so this is going to be the bounce that goes back up right here, it looks like, hopefully. And it seems like it hit accumulation right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, and it should start going up. Volume has stayed relatively low. That's a good thing. Should be hitting a free ride on this to go back up again. And so that's on the very short term move there. So now on the 10-minute chart, it's still coming down right here, drawing back wicks at the top, which means manipulation to the upside, which means they want it to go down. And so they're basically selling off as it comes up. And if retail actually rallies behind this and pushes it, it could actually, they can reverse it and keep it going up. But we still have 3 bounces either way. Whether 3 bounces going down or 3 bounces going up, the way the Bollinger Band is shaped, it's working its way back in to the Bollinger Band, and then it looks like it's going to be going up as it gets ready to distribute. So it's probably working its way back up to this high right here. And so we're going to put a price level there and anticipate it working its way up here. So I just got to figure out what the right price point is to get out of these, so I'm not wasting any profits, but I'm also not losing any position at the same time. This would be a lot easier if I just went ahead and put my option, if I would have set it to a certain price and just let it ride, but I'd wanted it at $1 anyways. So I'm still kind of early here. I've got 2 weeks left. I've just got to I got to weigh this out. And so I'm going to take a look at RRR while that's doing that. Same kind of situation here. Low volume run up, low volume run down. This is the free ride right here. As long as the volume stays relatively low, it shouldn't come crashing down, so still continue moving up. And this is basically on the exact same position as well. So whoever's institutional buying is running this is running the other one as well. It does look kind of different when you look at the tick chart. It's kind of a different kind of pattern here. It looks like it's Bollinger Band's coming up. This is 3-4, so actually RR looks like it's about to go for a bigger jump up. So it's on 3-4 here. In this area, it's going to hit the Bollinger Band a couple times, then come down, hit the bottom Bollinger Band. You see the bottom Bollinger Band turning up to meet it? That means that it's going to give it a spring. So this is actually going for the spring before it launches out of this box right here. And so it's going to kind of accumulate in this area or consolidate and then bounce down, dip into liquidity to gather up some more momentum, get that free float or soak up the float, and then turn around and go back up to bounce out of this area. So that's what we're waiting on that and on RRR. So I think that once it completes that turn, it's going to make a run for a higher high. So this one I'm not concerned with as much. I feel like this is just going to go for a higher high. So I have some time left on that one. NXTD is up 5 cents. I have a call to close on that at 25 cents, which, if I remember right, we are nowhere near. So we're good there. And so we'll leave that alone. UNE up a penny, not really in danger of having to do anything with that. XPOA is only a penny, not really in danger of having to do anything with that as well. CWK is up 6 cents, same position as RRR basically. Again, actually this is at 1, it needs to come down for 2. So you probably hit buyer's climax here. You're going to see it bounce 3 times. So basically almost the same position as we've got until the end of the day to kind of figure out what we want to do. I think they're going to hang in here in this area and bounce around. Whether or not that destroys the option price, I don't know. Doesn't look super favorable right now. I probably should have gotten out in the 70s. On ENBL, but I think it's just going to bounce back and forth between here and there and hopefully go up to about $1. If I can make it to $1 on these, I'd probably exit half my positions at $1 on these, and that would probably put me on these option calls. So that's kind of where I'm sitting. If you got any questions, please feel free to put them in the I know I'm link here, but please put your questions in the chat below. If you like what you see or you like what you're hearing, if you're just new to options and you're trying to learn, please communicate with me. I'm here to help. If you got something you want me to look at, I'm glad to look at it for you. I'm rambling and I'm just kind of trying to put what's on my mind out there so that way you can kind of see my thought process and what I'm looking at and how I'm dealing with it. If you got any words of advice, feel free to chime in. Right now and just trying to stay abreast to what is actually happening. If you caught my earlier streams, I do believe Amazon is going to make a run for about a $300 run up, $200-300 run up fairly soon. Right now it's sitting at $6 plus, so it could be finding its bottom right now and then turning around and going up. It's sitting at 33.12. I'm not really exactly where I predicted it to go down to. Let's see. It's kind of the least of my concerns right now. Now I do have a trading view account. You can always check that out and you can look at all my predictions and follow them. And the predictions on these 3 that I'm looking at are RRR, ET, and ENBL, and also CWK are all on there, and they're all following it to the T right now as we speak. So that said, you know, like what do we do with them? That is the big question for the day. We don't want to go through the weekend where we're losing money. We do want to kind of break even on all of our calls, and then we do want to leave runners. So, but we don't in the foot at the same time. You know, a lot of these, all 4 of these, all have potential to run and become parabolic, and that's why we're so. RRR easily will go above $40 before the end of the month, I think. ET is going to double in price from where it started, so it's going to be easily $12 to $13. ENBL is easily going to be a $13 to $14 stock before July, if not sooner. CWK completely undervalued, hasn't even hit the middle point of the year, and profits right now, they've already hit $1.75 billion. And their net value is 3.75, so they've already hit half the profits that they need for the year in the first quarter. So completely undervalued in my eyes. So looking to see big things coming from it, and it's definitely going to be moving up. This is definitely a CWK is definitely like a $20 plus stock all day long. In the money on all 4 of them. So that's the way we like it. So now we have good problems. We just got to figure out how we get out of these without losing money. And so let's take a look at ENBL again. Now the cheapest of all these is ET. ET I got in extremely low on. I think I got in at 15 cents each. So anything I take on ET is going to be a massive profit. It's sitting at Let's see, almost 65 cents right now. I don't know, I'm on the wrong one there. So this is the tick chart. My little girl's calling me. And so let's put you on the 10-minute. Here's a 10-minute chart. We've got this gap up situation here. If it holds this line, then we don't have to worry about it coming deeper. It's just going to continue moving up. But if it breaks that line and it comes down, then we're going to have to contemplate whether it's probably just going to go sideways. And then we need to start partialing out every time it hits up here, because this is basically supply down here and distribution up here. And so whatever the value is at this point up here is where we need to sell it to get out if it comes down this far. But if it stays at upward path right here, this is a very aggressive bullish run right here, so that means it's just going to keep going higher. And so we just need to see a bullish candle coming out of this situation right here where it's at in order for us to continue staying in it. But if it dips below this area, then I need to go ahead and consider dropping a couple of the option calls once it hits this line. Every time it hits that line, I'll need to drop 2 of these, I guess, and that's going to be the rule. So depending on that candle right there, and maybe the next candle that follows it, what is it going to do when it hits this price action? Is it going to create this ascending wedge and it's going to break out and go high? Or is it going to dip down once it hits this and come down and go lower to fill in this gap? And so these are the things that we are paying attention to today, whether or not we need to get out of these positions or if we need to take action and or just sit back and let it run. It's going to be a very intense kind of day, even though there's not a lot of movement. And so, and that's the thing is, this thing can pop and just go parabolic at any second. So do I pull the cord right now and take my money, or do I just sit back and let it run? And I mean, it's got all the potential in the world to run, but we're running out of time as well. So we need to refresh these into better option calls for another 2 months out. And so that's what we should do right now is let's look at pricing on what the option calls are for each of these. And so ET, energy transfer, let's take a look at options. I don't know if I want to look at it on RobinHood. I think I get more information if I look at it elsewhere. But alright, so the next, yeah, let's look at it on here. We'll start with the ENBL since we already have it up. So we look at option calls on ENBL. May 18th or June 18th is the first one that runs out. I don't think we want to go that short. We want to go like August 21st. And then $10 is the option call. We'd rather, so in the money on them is $1.20 right now. But if that dips below a certain area, then we want to gobble up those prices. So what we want to do is we want to sell, if that's the pricing on it right now, we want to sell the option call that we have right now at $1.20. That would be the best course of action, is to sell it at $1.20 and pick it up when it's cheaper, when it dips down, if it dips down. And we can pick up one for June 21st, which is not going to be long enough still, but maybe we do like a spread here. We pick up some cheaper option calls in the money at 75 cents here, and then pick up some more expensive ones a little bit later, just in case they run. But we want to be in the money on these because I've spent 3 weeks for these to get in the money and start to break even, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to actually be in the money, but I want to catch it on a dip down, if that makes sense. So that way anything that it prints from here on out, because I know we're going to run out of time, and it's moving towards a point. We know what the price point is. It's going to be $13 or more on EMBL. So we want to be able to capture that profit as soon as possible. And so let's I'm going to put notes. And or June 18th. All right, so let's see, June 18th, probably gonna be relatively the same. So on ET, $9 in the money is 77 cents, same price basically. That's where we need to buy in at. I don't see it coming down past this point. And then so if I chose that, delta on it, $79 per, like we're gonna make $79 in each one and add $32 after that on each one. So that's pretty strong. I like that. So now we just gotta find an exit point that makes sense. And so let's go back to portfolio. Starting to make a run back up. RRR is at 73 cents. And if we look at that, we paid 140 for it. It's sitting at 146. I've got 2 option calls on it. So I really need this to go double to get out of it. I kind of bought it too far out. Not that it was, I mean, it's still a $40 call, so we're still outside of the money, but it can definitely run if it would have a positive, like a big bullish day. I mean, right now it's almost up $1. So let's see. Let's go back to our charts here. Got our bullish candle starting here, starting to show resistance at the top here though. Really needed to kind of break through. We've got this turning motion. We got to spiral up, spiral down, find resistance, push back off, and come down. We don't want that. We want it to go the other way. But maybe that's the spiral up, and this is spiral down, spiral up. Wait, that's not spiral down. That's a spiral up. Let me see. If it started here, it pushed down, then pushed up, then comes back down, finds support, then goes down. So if it gaps up here, spirals down, then spirals up, comes back, finds support, pushes up. I can see that. So on a spiraling action coming out of a node, you want it to spiral down, then up, then come back and find support on top of it. It's kind of like a sideways laying S is what you're looking at. And so when you look at this candle right here, it's got wicks on both sides. Well, it gapped up to this location right here, so it had to come down to create that wick. And so it goes down, goes back up, pushes back down, and there's your S, like right here. But on a bigger scale, it's like coming down like this. So pushes down, pushes back up, finds support, and goes long. And so you can see like this. It's an S, just sideways and kind of tight and sloppy. But it's going to funnel up into this area right here and get pushed out, hopefully. or it can come pushing down this way, which means that it created another node up here and spiraled up, spirals down, finds support or resistance, and then pushes back down. Which that is a very long wick on a green candle, which means that it's tapping into a node up above it, which if it's on the other camera, let me show you right here. This long wick right here means a touch back or a tap back to the node before it distributes down. So if we had 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3, and then push and go down, that could be what's happening right here, which means it's going to come down lower and probably dilute the value of these options again. I need to sell 2 up there, and it's kind of too late now. Let me look at EMBL again. I got EMBL for 25 each, so if I sell them at 75, that would be triple the value on each one, but it might be too late for that. It's looking strong as death though, I don't know. What else is moving up? Oh, CWK is moving back up now. EMBL is dropping in value, so let's take a look at CWK. CWK hasn't moved, and it's moving up in value. It just boggles me. AT sitting in the exact same position, definitely looking like it's going to start coming down here. Little ramp up before it comes down, push up before it goes down, or it could be coming push down before it goes up. So if I was doing my little turn here, which I don't do it on a 10-minute, but when we look at this, you got 1 up and 1 down, which means that the next one is going up. So we just gotta hang tight here and see what's happening. And you're looking at the other screen again. So boom, here's my 10-minute. 1 up, 1 down. This one finishes down low. So 1 up, 1 down, then this is gonna go up. And this is down and this is up, so that goes down. So wherever this one finishes, you'll see another one come back up and go back up in the other direction. And that'll give us a run back up and give another opportunity to get out. RR, if we could just go, yeah, see, like I said, it's in position to go, to keep riding the thing, going up for a new high. It's basically what it's doing right now. So we'll give it a couple more minutes and look at it and see. I think this is just gonna run to hit that high right here. Since it already broke through the other one, it's going to come down, find support, and then take off and go longer. But let's draw another line that it's going to break, which is this guy right here. This was the one that it was going to break before, and that was the one before that. Since it already skipped over this one, we'll go ahead and delete that. And then you're looking at this. Something like this. And I got you on the wrong chart again. I need something for my charts to just follow me. Which one are we looking at? No, that's not the right one. You were on the right one. There you go. Alright, ET is coming down pretty hard, which we kind of figured it would. So going into reaccumulation, just filling in this gap right here. I really should have gotten rid of a couple of those options up there. So now we just gotta wait for it to turn back around. Which means that this is just gonna go sideways. It's gonna match this candle probably coming back up, re-tap that high, come back down, redistribute again. It's gonna give it 3 goes before it actually gives up. And so it's trying to suck back up right now, which means that they're gonna go for another accumulation. Once they get it down to a certain point, FOMO is gonna kick in, which is what this big red candle probably is. People trying to sell off. The buying back up on the wick on the bottom of that is the actual institutional buying, sucking it back up at a cheaper price, because right now we're below the gap up right now. So that is where the cheaper price is. Now it can go lower all the way down to fill in that gap, but it doesn't have to. It just needs to kind of touch that gap, which it already has. But look at it, you see that the wick is actually being sucked back up. So this could be, you know, it just really depends on retail and how strong they are in it, thinking that it's coming down. But this is a prime area this is supply where they're dipping into right now. And so we're going to mark that right here. That's supply. And so we'll make that green. I hate the green that they come with. I like this green better. So there. Supply and demand. And so demand is where they distribute, supply is where they pick up freshly or contracts. And so we're just letting it resupply at this point down here, hopefully make a run back up to here, and then redistribute and then come back down. RRR is looking pretty healthy. Let's take a look at it. Sucking back up on this candle right here, so it's just going to forego creating another candle. It's going to just shortcut it and go right in for this one. It's probably going to shoot up from there if it continues on its path that it's doing right now. So almost completely sucked it back up at this point. Let's get this over here. Come on, come down. There you go. So now we look at our RRR. RRR is probably going to go up in value again. It's sitting at 70 cents on the option call. It's probably going to move up another 10 to 25 cents here shortly if it starts breaking for a new high. If it does another candle like this, it'll be a pretty strong move. So the way to kind of gauge that is just measure this candle like this. Draw a line from the bottom to the top, and if it's going to repeat itself, there you go. You put it on that candle, it's the exact same height. So now if it's going to repeat itself, then it comes off at the high of this right here. This is where this candle is starting. So we can anticipate that's going to go up to 38.93 on this move right here.
It's true. My entire workday happens right here on my lap.
And you can get it done faster with the performance and security of a device configured
now,
by CDW.
looking at
for business Intel V Pro platform.
Nice.
Are you done yet, Mommy?
More time for story time.
An even better use of your lab. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it.
Now
Find
on the
out
tick
more at
chart,
cdw.com/Intel.
it's got 3 Bollinger Bands. It's just touching the purple one right now. It's got 2 more Bollinger Bands that it can touch to the upside. I don't see the white one. It must be hidden in there. They might have already hit the white one. I don't see it. But 2 more Bollinger Bands sitting up at 38.67, which would be a kind of like a kind of like a stopping point basically. It'll hit that area, and then if it goes up from there, there's another Bollinger Band that I'll have showing that's up higher. but it would be relatively in the same areas where this is right here, halfway point. So be interesting to see that move up. And CWK, so let's take a look at it. All right, big healthy green candle here, a little bit of a pullback. It's probably going to be about halfway here. Going to tap into this node that these two have tapped into. So let's draw a line out there, and then we'll go right to there. So probably going to tap this area right here and then turn around and go back up. Hopefully is what we're looking at on that one. NXTD up 7 cents, XPOA up 6 cents, still worth nothing. UAMY is up 3 cents, still worth nothing. ET up 34 cents, I like that. It's starting to look healthy again. So let's take a look at ET. Oh yeah, so sucking that candle right back up right here. Big long wick. So that's showing you that it's tapped that node. It's filled, basically done its job on filling. The rest of this open is going to come back down and tap that later. So after these 3 bounces, you're going to see it probably come back and tap this area to fill in the gap and then go back up to go long. That's going to be the spring for a little. So right now we've got buyer's climax, initial, automatic response, and then up thrust or secondary test, and then another secondary test coming down to this area right here, and then another up thrust, and then it's going to come down and go for a major sign of weakness, which means it's going to dip into liquidity down here. So what we want to do is we want to partial out probably on two option calls here of ET at this area. So let's see. Let's go to monitor. Look at this option. We want to take profit. Create closing order. And we want to do 2, and then so it's sitting at 59 cents here. Do we want to? So it's going to go up. It doesn't have to distribute. I think I'll make that call once it gets up there. I want to see how it reacts. I know it's going to distribute once it gets up there, but I want to see what the price is going to be, so that way we'll know where it sits. We'll set an alarm here. Let's go to ENBL. Let's create another alarm for it as well. It's already almost back up to the high, so we want to set an alarm here. Alert. And then RRR. See how it's sucking back up. I'm basically following up on, I've got 4 options that are in the money. Today's Friday. I'm looking to partial out some of my positions. I'm tied up on that. If you do want me to look at some tickers, I'd be glad to check them out for you. But I'm kind of looking at it and trying to figure out where the best place to partial out some of these, because I want to rebuy back into them when it dips back down at a low. And I just want to make sure that I don't lose any money while I'm doing that. And so the 4 that I'm looking at right now pretty closely are RRR, ET, ENBL, all four in the money, all have potential to go parabolic at this point, but they can also come down because it's Friday and set itself up to go for another run up and stop at a low for the day. And so I want to kind of partial out of some of these, at least 2 to 3 of the option calls on each one of these. They're all pretty cheap option calls, but I want to rebuy back in with that money on a longer term. So we're just waiting to see how these respond to those, how they respond throughout the day. RRR, I've got it drawn out here. It should hit about 38.95 before it ends this, maybe this next candle here. It's already broke out of this ascending wedge that it was creating early, and so it might come down and jump back up. I'm not really sure, but we're just gonna wait and see on how that runs. Well, my account just hit 1,000, so my account just doubled. Start off with $500. I'm sitting at 1,000 right now, and so that's why I'm kind of concerned with like trying to, you know, salvage whatever I can out of my account. CWK just hit 80 cents for the first time. Let me grab that, bring it over. On the option call, it's hitting 80 cents. And so, you know, if this is the buyer's climax, it's going to have an up thrust coming up, secondary test. I should think about getting out of a couple of these calls. I've only got 4 on CWK though, so I've really got to pay close attention to that and RRR because I only have a couple option calls on those. And I don't want to get out too soon because, like I said, they can go parabolic, but I do want to leave a couple in so that way if it does go parabolic, I can reap the benefits of those while it does. But also want to protect my account and make sure that I keep some of the money that I've got in here so that I'm not left with nothing if it starts to drop and become worthless. And I do have 2 weeks left on it, so it's not like it's that crucial that I have to worry about it right now, but I know how next week works. Next week could be a pump and dump, or it could be a straight stranglehold all week long leading up until the next week, which is the major option call week. And then they just bury it. I mean, they just bury it that week and then run it back up the next week. And so we don't really know how they're going to play it, but based on what I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at a 10-minute chart, which is a lot tighter than I normally look. But what I did for the day was I took the amount of hours that are given in a day, which typically is about 6 plus, but we average it down to about 6, and then we take how many minutes are in those 6, divide that by how many candles we think it's going to take to finish one rotation, like one actual full move, which should be about 36 candles, which so ironically and comes out to an even number of 10 minutes, a 10-minute chart. And so I'm looking at a 10-minute chart to gauge what this option is going to do throughout the day, because normally I play a daily chart, which is going to give me a span of like a week, or a 4-day chart, which is going to give me a span of like a month. And so now, because I'm really focused on what's going to happen for the day, I'm looking at a 10-minute chart to see how it's going to end up and when is the opportune time to get out of these options if I'm trying to partial out. And so that's what we're looking at right now, and we're still in the very early stages of this play. We've got 3 bounces, and basically we're going to have 2 more touches to the upside before it actually dumps to find cheaper shares to reaccumulate to set itself up to go for a higher high. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm out of at least half my option calls by the end of the day, but I want to get out when it hits these highs up here. Now, on these 3 bounces that we're talking about, it has the chance to break for a higher high and keep going and come down, find support, and bounce out and go longer. And so we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot, and so that's why I haven't taken any positions out yet. And so now it's just a juggling between the 4, which is a lot to juggle on a Friday with the amount of time that we have. But that just, hey, I picked 4 good stocks that could go parabolic, that are in the money, that were super cheap. And so if I have that kind of headache every Friday that that we get into that, I'm okay with that. that is good. That means I did good. And so that's what we're looking at is, you know, RR just hit $1 right now up. So let's take a look at it. You know, it just means that I'm doing the right things and I'm handling it in the right way. And so that's what we want, is we don't want to be in option calls that are going negative and then us contemplating how we can cut our losses, you know, or whatever, whatnot. Because the first thing that you should do is when you get into an option call, is that if it's not making correct but following your trend line, you should automatically just get out. And so if you go to my TradingView, if you're not following me on TradingView, please follow me on TradingView. I've got all my predictions out for these stocks already set a month ago. And so the only reason I'm in these following, they're respecting the trend line that I drew. And so I'm going to pull those up so you can take a look at them, and that way you'll get a better idea. But TradingView is free. If you're not following me on TradingView and you're watching me on the stream, you know, you're missing everything. Follow me on TradingView. It's free. You can look at all my all my predictions of what I made. You can hit play on them, whether or not they're coming to fruition, or if I'm just full of, you know, BS. You know, because there's a lot of shot callers and a lot of people out there talking all kinds of mumbo jumbo out there in the world, and they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. But are they giving you something that you can follow that really is proving, you know, showing progression on what they're not? Why are you following them? That's what I'm saying. You know, I'm not here to talk bad about anybody else out in the market, but there's a lot of people that are saying all kinds of things that's going to happen in the market. But is it coming true? Are you actually following up with it? Or are you just like their energy and you're just following them because they got good energy? But that doesn't pay you money, and that's not going to put you on the right path. So I've got it out on TradingView. Everything that I'm playing is actually in a prediction out on TradingView, and you can go back, you know, look at it to see if it's actually following the path. You know, and so the ones that I'm following, like I said, are RRR, CWK, ET, and ENBL. And so I'm pulling up my TradingView right now so you can take a look at it. Let's see. Oops, put it back up. And let's switch cameras. Oops. Yep, that's good. Is it this one? Is it this one? I'm confused why it's not. Oh, wait, duh. There. That's my TradingView account right there. CWK is making a move right now. RRR is also making a move right now. So this is my TradingView account. You see the play button right here. These are my nodes. This is when I got in, down here somewhere, right here. And if I hit play, it shows you where it's finding resistance and where it's finding support. And here we are. Here's the resistance up here where the trend line is. It comes down. Here's the support that found down here where the trend line is. So these are all reasons why, the way that you want it to, or that it needs to, that's a reason why you should be getting in. So when it finds support on the bottom trend line, that gives you a non-emotional trigger to jump in. Look at it, hit it and it wicked back off of it. That is a non-emotional trigger to get in. And that's the best way to trade, is when it's not emotional. And so that's why I do this, is because I draw these trend lines to see if it respects it. If it respects it, I get in. And so now here it respects it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So you had 4 opportunities to get in right here. And look at it run up. And so today it can run up all the way to $40 if it wants to. Whether it will or not, I don't know. That's up to retail. Retail is what makes it run up. Institutional buying is what puts it in position to run up. They get the market psychologically on the same side of the fence. Whether they did their job or not, I don't know. I'm guessing that they did, because look at it, it's running up. And so that's what you want, is you want to be on the same side of the fence as what institutional buying is. And that's all these trend lines are, is what institutional buying has done in the past to show you what they're going to do in the future. And so, you know, I'm not Nostradamus. I don't predict the future. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't follow anything I say. But if you want to kind of poise yourself in the right place to make sure that you get the most out of your money, look at these trend lines that I post for these charts and watch it respect it. And if it respects it, maybe take a position going in the direction that you want. And so that's why I say, if you got stocks that you're looking at that you want me to check out for you, put them in the comments below. If you're tuning in and watching this later on, put them in the comments below and let me pull them up for you. I promise I'll look at them on the next show or the next stream. I do this every day, and I have no problems doing it. I actually love doing it. I love charting, and I've only been doing this for 9 months, but I have acquired savant syndrome. If you're just tuning in, you don't know my story. I've got acquired savant syndrome. I got hit in the back of the head, got 11 staples on the left side of my brain. There's a super rare chance that a traumatic brain injury causes you to have a new talent or something like that. And what was thought my talent was just art, but as I started looking at charts, I started seeing things, and some of the same things that were happening when I was looking at art, because now I paint near realism, whereas I couldn't paint or draw before the wreck. Now I paint near realism. So a lot of things and the way that it felt whenever I was going into art is the same thing I saw. So I just see things, and so that's how I got into trading, and I was struggling with finding a way to financially support myself, and so I got into trading for that very reason. I've only been doing this for 9 months, and I don't really pay attention to what other people say, except about a month ago, for the first time, I looked into why to try to find something that logically explained what I was seeing in the market 3 months in, and I found Wyckoff schematics, which is basically the logical response to what I visually see in the market. And I kind of knew that from the beginning, but I just never really looked for anything. I didn't know what Wyckoff was. I never knew it was a thing. I didn't know that anybody was even talking about anything like that. But institutional buying is what I see visually market. And so Wyckoff is a logical explanation of all that. And so that's how I trade. So different from what they teach you in Wyckoff with all the technical stuff that they teach you, because there's a lot of stuff that they teach you there. I have some visual shortcuts that just sum up all of that stuff real quick, real easy, without you having to know all that. And so that's how I trade. So anyways, let's get back to this and look. RR hit over $1 gains today, and now it's coming back down a little bit, but I think it's just going to keep going up. I don't see any reason why it would come down. Let me hit play on this. This is ENBL. CWK is over $1.03 on my option call, which is a prime spot for me to kind of look at. I do need it to go a little bit higher, if it will. Just because I only have 4 option calls and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. So if it keep going, that's great. My option count did hit $1,100, so now I'm over 50% on that. Again, we need to save as much of that as possible. So now if you look at this chart right here, this is ET, and I showed that there was a trend line here, so it was going to have resistance breaking this, so it hit it, went over it, dipped back down below it to dip into liquidity to gather up strength to run past it, runs past it. It's going to dip down to find support, did that on this wick right here, and then pushes back up, and it goes for a new high, gaps up to the next trend line. Look at this. Look at it. It literally gaps up to $9.58, where I predicted the next area of support would be. It literally gaps up to it, wicks down to fill in that gap, pushes past it, starts going long again, comes up for a new high at $9.87. I'm not making this stuff up. This is real. So if you're just tuning in and you're seeing this, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous stuff. Kind of want to post this. Somebody put a note here. go to a day chart, copy, and go to a day chart here. Isn't that going to show them? Oh, it's not going to re-show it. I'll add it anyways. I need to take a look at CWK. Let's take a look at ENBL. Oops, this is the ET. Was I looking at enable? Oh. Let me switch this to dark theme and let's move this away. Put that back to a day chart. Alright, so now let's take a look at CWK. CWK still looks like it's going for a high. I'm not going to take away from that. Let's look at ENBL. Let's get rid of these lines here. Okay, had a little down to get it to go up again. So we're going to see this right here. Looking super healthy right now. This thing could run, so we're just gonna hang tight here and watch to see what happens next. Let's take a look at CWK, put this in dark mode. Share this. Come on. Okay. Switch back to RRR. Looks like it's starting to dip down here. We should be seeing it right where it's at actually. If that's the node it's going to react to. Basically coming up, finding support on top of the node, bouncing up and going long is what we're looking at. So line, it would go right here. Oops. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. Let's draw a trend line here. Change this color to red, green. down. Alright, let's look at ET. Still looking strong. CWK. Oh, you're on the wrong one. Hold on. Let me switch you. Nope. There you go. CWK still looking pretty strong here, sitting at $1 on my option call. Really got nothing on that. Maybe reduce this down. Take a look at my tick chart. Let me keep this expanded out. Equity, show extended. Nope, not that one. Time axis, keep it time zoom, hit apply, good. Alright. So RRR dipping down. Alright, so but again, I think that this is just gonna keep going. I don't foresee this like going into full distribution mode. I could be wrong, but 1, 2, 3, buyer's climax, dips down, hits this, fills in half the gap of this candle here, finds support, turn around, go back up, I think. The mean's down here, it's way down here, but I think this stalls out to drag it back up to here probably. This is starting to turn up as well, the bottom Bollinger Band. So we're gonna let this breathe. I don't think we're done. So let's take a look at ET. EMBL is not moving very much right now. Where's that? Being pushed down right here. What is EMBL sitting at? 65 cents. What a strong day. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. A whole different set of issues to deal with today. But it doesn't mean that they can't turn this and just shove this right into the dirt, which is probably what's going to happen really soon. So I do need to start finding my positions to get out of these. I need to keep track of that. AMBL needs to start showing progress going up. It's stagnating, going sideways right here. I don't like that. This is a down, that is a up, which means this would be a down. Or is this a up and that's a down? This will be a up. Yeah, because this starts off up higher and this comes down lower. Gaps down. So is this a high, this is a low, this goes up. So let's see. CWK starting to come back, looking strong. There you go. ET. Where's ET? ET. Probably going to respond back with a green candle right there. Again, this is higher than this one, so this is up, this is down, this is going to go up. RRR. This is up, this is down, so next candle will go back up. EMBL. None of those really matter. So let's take a look at ET's value. It's still at 300. I can end ET at 463 right now. Guess that's what I kind of look at. Not only do I have 1100 over here on the Robinhood account, I have 473 on my Thinkorswim account. It just took a downturn, ET did, so let's take a look at that. It just lost 3 cents. So it put me at $1,500 buying power, which is enough to actually get in on some really good stocks or options. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet right now. I'm just contemplating a lot of things right now, just kind of weighing them out. Not really interesting, I know, but like it's kind of on a down rotation right now. So now we just got to wait it out again to see if it's going to rebound back. On my tick chart, it's looking pretty healthy. It's actually going up, even though it looks like it's down over here. And now it's starting to show that it's trying to go back up. So probably coming out of that downturn is the push before the pull again. So just that's what the market does, is it pushes down when it wants the market to go up. When it starts pushing up because it wants the market to go down is when we start having to get worried about it. And so it's a very healthy thing when you see this come down. It's just when you see it coming down consecutively is when it's not so healthy. This is a push down. We're looking for it to respond back going up after the push down. And so we'll see how the market responds. It's just a continuation of this push down. So the market did go up on this one, then got pushed down, and then the continuation of that push down's right here. And so you'll probably see this either before the end of this candle or at the start of the next candle going back up. So just in a rotation, and just have to learn to anticipate it. Nothing on CWK on the tick charts.
I'd be an all-time great if
going into a big squeeze on ET, coming down to the bottom of Bollinger Band right there, and the big squeeze on a tick chart, so you can't see that. Let me switch this display. Nope, not that one.
I'd win every season.
And let's do this one. Yep, right there. So coming down right here into the bottom Bollinger Band, big squeeze, which means that the Bollinger Bands get really tight. And so now price action's already hit the bottom Bollinger Band here. Now it's responding back with a green candle here. So this is 5 going for 1. So this is where ET actually goes to make a new high, is where it's at right now. So this is super healthy right here. This is what we want to see. We want to see this grow and get past this upper Bollinger Band and go for the new high. So this is the move that we've been waiting for out of ET. So we're going to have to watch it closely. I imagine ENBL is in the exact same move. And so it has not quite gotten to that point yet. So ENBL hasn't gone into the squeeze yet. And so we have to kind of watch that to see if this is going to go into something else and it's going to go into just full distribution mode, or is this going to go into a big squeeze as well and it's just trailing behind the other one, which it has been. ENBL is trailing behind ET, and it has been for months, so not a big deal. So we kind of anticipate what's going to happen. If you look at ET again, ET was in this open kind of like movement right here. It kind of opened up and then it went into a big squeeze, hit the upper Bollinger Band, then went into a big squeeze. And so if ENBL is in the same spot on the tick chart, so on the time chart it looks about the same as ENBL, almost the exact same spot. The chart looks the same as the time chart, so they're almost kind of synced. But if this is a prelude to what's going to happen on from ET to ENBL, then this is going to come up, and this top Bollinger Band is going to come down to this 824 area. This tick chart's going to hit the top Bollinger Band, then drop down into the bottom Bollinger Band, which means that the bottom Bollinger Band is going to come up to about the $8 mark, higher to like the 830, 810, 813, 815 mark. And then it's going to hit the top Bollinger Band, come down to the bottom Bollinger Band in a series of candles, and then bounce up to go long from there and shoot for a new high. And so that's what we're waiting for on the ENBL. After that high, we should be out of half of our positions. And so we have to kind of stay abreast to this movement for them. CWK is acting like RRR and Home Depot. It's just gone. It looks like it's going parabolic, which means it's just going to ride the upper Bollinger Band up for the day. It's not coming off of that. If it comes off of that, then it's going to be, you know, it's probably going to go into the same kind of pattern as the other ones are. But as long as it maintains this pattern, it's not, you know, there's nothing to worry about on this one yet. So we'll just kind of keep that, let it ride. And RRR. So this is the run that it was doing on it. Now it's starting to come down here. So now we should anticipate it doing the same thing, going into a big squeeze as it comes back around over here. If it's going to hold to this path right here, it could just turn around and go right back up, because I mean it hasn't hit the mean yet. But if it does come down and try to hit this mean, then it's probably going to go into that, you know, going into 5 and try to go for a higher high. So it's not quite there yet. This actually is the 5 here. So it would actually go down for 2, which means it would have to come all the way down to the bottom Bollinger Band. You know, it'd have to make a deep bleed down. So it could be trying to go into the beginning stages of distribution, which means you've got 1, 2, 3 hits here, distributes, and then reaccumulates and goes down. Starts off looking like distribution, but then reaccumulates and goes in for another high. Because here's the thing, once you hit a high, as an institutional buyer, once you hit a high, you've got retail in your hand. Up all that momentum that they just built up, they drop it way down here and lose that momentum. What they're going to do is going to go into a shorter curve, and the shorter curve is going to go like this. It's basically where a regular curve is going to take 5 hits to the Bollinger Band, or 4 hits to the Bollinger Band. 1, 2, 3 in this area here, 4 down at the bottom, and then 5 go for a high. And so this actually looks like it's, so if that was 1, this is 2. It hasn't hit, this is 3, 4 on it, so it's gonna come down. So it's down to hit this bottom Bollinger Band, which is gonna be up here somewhere, and then go for a new high. So this is one step behind ET in that respect. And so we've got plenty of movement left in RR to get. Let me go back to ET here. Yeah, so ET, that was 3, 4 back here. This is 1 on where it's at right now. So if it's going to come down, it's got to come all the way down to the bottom Bollinger Band, then go back up. But since you've already got the momentum built on here, they're not going to throw that away. What they're going to do is they're going to go into a shorter curve, which is a 3 hit. So instead of doing the 5 hits, this is 3, 4, 5, and then go for 1 or whatever. It's going to go, here's 1, it's going to, this bottom Bollinger Band is going to come up, it's going to hit it, and it's going to go up again to go for a new high. And so it's just going to be a much shorter curve, because they already got retail in your hand. So it's just going to be like a much shorter path. Boom, 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 and go up for a new high. Do it again, boom, 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 go up for a new high. If that fails, then it's going to come down and dip into liquidity and do number 2, go for the bottom Bollinger Band, but it's going to stair step down to get there. So distribute out all their contracts to get there. So that said, ET still looking very bullish coming out of this big squeeze. Just hit the bottom, rounding out, doing a red candle to cover up half the height of that candle, and then probably sucking back up and going long from there. ENBL is going to be following suit. It's just kind of stagnating at that 28-cent gain for the day, going sideways, consolidating. Like I said, it's going to draw it out to bring that bottom Bollinger Band up and bring the top Bollinger Band down, then get into a big squeeze, hit the bottom Bollinger Band, and then bounce out, go long. So I imagine it's probably going to hit the top Bollinger Band before it goes into a big squeeze. So it's going to make another run up here shortly, then bounce off of that, and then come back down, hit the bottom Bollinger Band, then go up for a new high. Everything's still looking pretty solid here. EMBL kind of struggling. It was at 70 cents for the gain for the option call. Now it's at 58 cents. RRR sitting at 68 cents. CWK sitting at $1. ET sitting at probably like 60 cents, 65 cents. Let me look at it. Trade, go ET. Yeah, 60 cents. Sitting at 60 cents, 58 cents. So everything just kind of like sitting still right now. It is getting close to lunchtime, so you might see things go sideways for a little bit. And I might just leave this running as long as the internet cooperates with me. I'm just going to get some lunch if things are going to start going sideways. Still waiting for our ET to kind of catapult its way out of this big squeeze that it's in. That is the first one that's actually going to make a move out of all the other ones. The other ones are just going to kind of stagnate for a little bit. But ET is primed and ready to launch, to go the distance. CWK, I believe, is sitting at the same spot as ENBL. Yeah, it's. I mean, CWK is going parabolic unless it breaks away from this area up here. It hit a new high, and now it's creating a red candle to fill in half that candle. That is going to go back up just like it has been doing. If it breaks that trend, then it's something that we need to look at. But it looks like it's going red, green, red, green, red, green, but with the greens being double the height of the reds. So we're uh, we're sitting pretty good there. CWK earnings is 4 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Is that today? What? This call was yesterday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Stock hit high, 52-week high on 5/7. Earnings was okay. Estimated earnings for CWK was negative 33 cents, but actual earnings was 11 cents. So that's why it's going parabolic right now. So that's pretty strong. And then what do we got for ET? ET's earnings was 26 cents. Actual was $1.21. So that's why it's going parabolic. And that was yesterday too. We missed all those. I should have done calls on those. My bad. ENBL earnings was 17 cents. Actual was 33 cents. These are strong plays. I mean, I'm telling you, they're strong as death. Earnings was 21 cents. Actual was negative 92. So RRR is the only one that actually took a hit. I'm surprised that they took a hit because they looked like they were doing pretty strong there. So I'm wondering what's going on with they're still going up though. They don't care. I mean, they are seeing a dip right here out of find an exit point for those, but that earnings call came out on the 4th. They're still going up. So don't really see that it affected them at all, to be honest with you. This is going into distribution or coming down to find support on this area right here and then bouncing out and going long. That's probably what's going on with that. So if I adjust this to here, that's what you're looking at. And that would just be this dipping into this half of this candle right here before it goes back up. Sucking up on this candle. Hopefully it continues doing that. I don't know what happened to my music. It just randomly stops, usually right before my stream gets cut out because the internet goes to crap. So let's hit refresh here. Copyright free. All right. RRR. We're not concerned with them. ET looking bullish. I like that. Getting ready to hit that upper Bollinger Band for the first time. After it went into the big squeeze, that is. ENBL also looking bullish. Trying to go up for that high. CWK. Okay, coming down off of that parabolic run there. So we got spiral out, spiral down. This is just going to find support right here. If I'm going to guess, it's probably right there. If it comes lower than that, it could be this node here. And then it should be sucking back up and going long. It's just trying to find support off of that node before it bounces up and goes for a high. So not really concerned about it either. Thank you for doing it. Kind of, it's lunch. Things are kind of slowing down, but we do have a couple of the stocks getting ready to go into a run for a new high. And so again, don't be shy, don't be rude, say hi in the chat. I mean, please. If you got any tickers, please post them in the chat. I'd be glad to look at them for you. I said hi if ticker, please. I'm out here streaming to help you guys out, and so don't just sit there and stare at me. Say something, please. You know, or there's no point in me doing this. You know, if you find this interesting, you like what you see, you like to hear me talk about what I see in the market, support me by saying something. It's just, you know, thank you. See, even my little girl knows how to respond. She's got proper etiquette for streaming. Hey, baby. I'm good. How are you? Nice shirt. Thank you. We're both wearing the same shirt. I mean, not at the same time, but we're business, and she's got one of them, I got the other one. We're both wearing them. So, looking at the charts, I guess I ran off one of you. Sorry about that, but I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, if you're not going to talk to me, why are you even here? Sorry. This is how I feel. I feel like you should at least say something. CWK sitting at 95 cents. ENBL, let's see, sitting at 29 cents. Let's see if these are still moving up. All right, getting a little bit of a push down. ET, same, getting a little bit of a push down. Still got a lot of potential to run up, so we're just waiting for that to pop. Could be waiting or stalling here. Let's see, CWK, we already looked at that. CWK come down pretty hard. There we go, but still in the area where we think it's going to go, so not really a big deal. RRR still coming down. Like I said, it might be about halfway of this candle right here before it finds resistance and starts coming back up. Let me draw another trend line. This could be a very possible area right there. Turn this one green. Just okay. Boom. So now we're just waiting for the market to make a turn to go back up. What do we do? What did CWK cost me? So it was $260 for each one, so $65 for each contract. I'd like to see this get into the 130 area for CWK, and then I can sell them to break even on 2 of those. So still looking to hold on that, not looking to do anything there, even though it is sitting kind of nice. Cash in right now, and it's worth $400. What to do, what to do, what to do. I should definitely protect what I have and leave runners. So if I cashed out right now and took 300 out of that, and then cashed out those when it hits back up to 75, that would be, let's say I did 5 of those at 75, be 150 and 150, so 300 plus an extra 75, so 375. That'll put me at 675. And then RRR, I cashed out one of those at 70. What did I pay for the RRR? I don't think it was much. Yeah, 35 bucks. So if I did one at 70, then that would put me at a break even on that, and then I would have 1 runner left. We'll wait for it to run back up. I'm gonna wait for all these to run back up, and then maybe we'll start shedding those. And then ET sitting at 60 cents. Now, if I did all of them at $1, so I got 8, 4, that's 12, 13, 14. So then I would have $1,400 if I got rid of all of them at $1. If they would actually make it that high before the end of the day, which I don't think that they will. And then I have 8 or 10 on ET, so that would put me another 1,000 if that would go up to $1. So that would be me at $2,400. So maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing. Let me do that. I'm gonna put in a close, sell to close at $1. Let's say good to a close. On EMBL I got 8 of those. I'm gonna do it for at least 4 of those. Submit. And then on RRR, I'm gonna put in 1 for $1. Oh, that was good for the day. I need to get to a close. No, not that. Cancel. Dismiss. Sell to close. $1. Good to cancel review order. And then let's go to this, and here, create closing order there. Let's do half of these, and that would be for $1. And then we'll set that good to a close as well. Okay, and then I mean everything else is not going to do anything. So the only one that I don't have a closing order on for at least half of what it has is the CWK. So I need to watch that pretty closely because it's sitting at $1 and I can just go ahead and take half of that right now. But I spent $260 on it to get all four, so I want to get at least $1.35 out of that to cover the cost of that, and then leave 2 for runners. So maybe I'll put an order in here for good till close for 2 at $1.50. So just be a little bit ambitious. So that would be 300. That'll cover the cost of it plus give me a gain and leave 2 runners. I'm okay with that. Trying to make sure that greed doesn't take over and prevent me from sitting or putting myself in a good position. So I'm putting in orders for a minimum of what I think that I should be able to get out of these for half of the options that I have. That leaves the other half of the options as runners, and then I'm going to look for them to peak out and dip again, and then I'm going to take another half out of that. And then so that way by the time I get to the third dip, I should be nothing but 1 runner in each one, but being able to let it go parabolic if it wants to go parabolic. But if they run it down to nothing, that's okay. So that is my thought process on that. So I did it, I made the move. I'm going to let it pan out and see how it runs. Everything is still running sideways. ET is about to hit the upper Bollinger Band, explode and go upwards, because it's already hit the upper Bollinger Band, then hit the bottom Bollinger Band. Actually come very close to bottom Bollinger Band, my bad. So that's probably not a good thing. It needs to touch the bottom Bollinger Band if it's going to explode to go upwards for any distance. So it might turn around and come back down from here. You see the Bollinger Band squeezing in a little bit tighter on this move. Yeah, right there. You can see it squeezing in a little bit tighter, going inside this other Bollinger Band. And so that's going into an even tighter squeeze. So you can see this come down, probably hit this bottom Bollinger Band, then bounce out and go long. Typically you want it to hit the bottom Bollinger Band because that means it's going to explode going in the opposite direction if it does that. It doesn't always have to be that way. It can just go and go and go, explode up and just keep going if will support it. But typically the psychological response is this: if it comes into a big squeeze and it hits the bottom Bollinger Band, retail responds in a much bigger way if it hits the bottom one first, because then it explodes upwards and it goes faster, if you will, because you're basically, institutional buying is basically accumulated more of those shares if it comes down, and they're in more control of it. So then when retail jumps in, retail's fighting for a much smaller portion of the float, which causes it to explode to go upward in a faster pace. And so that's what you want, is you want it to come down for institution to take more control of that float, so that way when it does have retail fighting for whatever shares are left over, they're fighting for half of the shares that were there, and so therefore it explodes going up faster because the value they're starting to fight for, the demand is greater. That said, I'm seeing a very bullish candle forming right now. It's about to hit the upper Bollinger Band. Does that mean we're not going to get a run like we should? No, it doesn't mean that. It could mean that retail's ready and that this dip down did exactly what it should have done, even if it did hit the bottom Bollinger Band. I mean, it came down to like 98% of hitting that bottom Bollinger. It just hit the top Bollinger Band. So it's the same move, it just physically didn't touch the bottom Bollinger Band. The bottom Bollinger Band is more of like a algorithmic response to where psychology usually is met for the bottom area for where it should trigger it to go up. So it's not a guarantee, like an absolute. It just tends to. now that it's hit the upper Bollinger Band, this is where it could fail and start coming down, or it could just go parabolic and just start shooting up. And so it's just really up to retail at this point whether or not they get behind this move and start pushing it. If they start trying to go up and they can't push it to keep going up, it's going to come down for a deeper run. And so that's kind of why we need shares, is because they're at a pivotal point of where it can turn around and start going down. So right now it's hitting a high. I imagine that if I was to look at the trade on this, the value of it's going up. Yep, it's above where it's been stagnant at. It's at 64 cents. It should jump up here. It's up to 65 now. Every time it goes up, it should start as well. As long as it remains bullish, this should continue moving up. Now it's at 67 cents. So you see it pumping right there. That candle's white, which is a good thing because you want that move to stay low volume as it moves up, because the longer it stays low volume, the farther up it'll go. Once it starts to turn dark green, that means the institutional selling is happening, or it means institutional is getting involved, which means that they're probably selling their shares in order to help move it up. And if they're selling their shares, that means that the run up is going to be short-lived and that it's going to stop moving at some point shorter than it should. And so we want this to continue to move up, so we need it to stay white, but we need it to stay not coming down. We don't want wicks at the top. We want it to stay very bullish and white at the same time. This is a 233 tick chart, so it only needs to sustain for another 70 ticks, 70 orders coming through, remaining bullish going up to create a new candle. And so as long as it keeps doing that, then we should be pretty healthy for it to run up and keep running up. So let's see, now it hasn't changed because it hasn't really gone past the point of where it's at. It just turned green for average volume, which isn't still a bad thing. Dark green is where it's actually starting. That means it's going to go for a buyer's climax, which means it's going to shoot up and go for its last high before it starts to come back down and actually touch the bottom Bollinger Band, which is what I was talking about earlier. So there it goes right there. There's a big sell-off right there because it's showing weakness, that it can't sustain that run up. And so now it's gone really red, which means that is the buyer's climax. Basically, it's already hit. Now institutions dipping down into a deeper area to try to get liquidity. So we're going to have to let this thing ride over lunch to dip down into liquidity to come back up and make another run for a high. Doesn't mean that it can't suck it back up from right here, and it can find it's tapping into this node right here, and that it can't rebound off of this. But typically once it gets into this point, if it goes red that quick, that means that they're dumping off their shares, which means that retail doesn't respond back in a very strong way. So you got 3 bounces. This is the first bounce. It might go and come back down again. That's the second bounce, and it goes up again and comes back down. That would be the third bounce. And so the way to represent that, to look at it on here, is every time it hits the upper Bollinger Band, that would be another touch going up. And so if this spikes up and hits the upper Bollinger Band, that would be 2. And then it'll spike up, or come down and it'll spike up and hit the upper Bollinger Band again. That would be 3. And then it goes into full distribution mode, and then we're dumping shares. Sitting at 65 cents, not really going anywhere. You see them basically matching what retail is trying to do. Retail is trying to buy it to go up, but they're not buying enough. So therefore, the selling that institutional is doing is outweighing the buying that they're trying to do. And so it's just going to kind of push it down back to this node area if retail doesn't really get behind this and start pushing it up. So let me make a post on TradingView to see if we can kind of help this along. Not that anybody really listens to me, group of people there that can get behind what I'm saying. And so let's go to ET. really sure this is going to inspire people to get in on it. Alright, I hit enter. EMBL. Take a look at it. Looking pretty healthy, making its run up. ET is the one to look at right now. CWK is coming down to it looks like it's reaccumulating after, you know, this move right here. So it's just going to make a run back up here shortly. Not really concerned with it. ET is the one though to watch. And so we're going to get back to looking at it. It is forming a green candle right here. So let me flip back to this. So kind of moving sideways. And then after you move sideways, you kind of look for the one that breaks the line here. The indecisions that like break the trend here. So you got a flat, basically you got a flat response from here to here. So now we got one pushing up, which means that once this is done going up, it's going to start coming back down. If it doesn't make a move. ET there. And so, and the way you see that is whenever you have a barcode printing, so same like even ups and downs, basically going sideways. Whatever indecision candle breaks that trend going up or down is the one that's going to go in the opposite direction of that. And so right now it's looking pretty strong that it's going to go up before it actually comes down. And I could be wrong, it might go down right here. If it went down right here, then it's definitely going to go up in a big way. But the way it's looking right now is that it's going to break this trend going, this barcode, and it's going to go up. Look, now it just went down. So I don't know, maybe it'll go down. Either way, if it came down pretty strong right here, it's going to respond back with a much bigger response going up. That's what we want. We want it to come down before it goes up. That's why I wanted to touch the bottom Bollinger Band earlier. Let's see, CWK sitting at 98 cents, ENMBL sitting at 65 cents, RR 65 cents, ET probably sitting at 65 cents. I'll look at it here, 66 cents. Everything's sitting right about the same price. CWK is still sitting up there high, coming down, trying to find support. My whole portfolio is basically doing it's already hit its high. Now it's, because it has the attention span of everybody, it's going to go up for another high by just doing the 3 touches on the bottom on the Bollinger Bands. So short path to run for a new high. So we'll wait for that to kind of happen, and I'm probably going to have to force sell out of half my positions at that point, because that means it's going to correct itself and come down at some point. All right, so looking pretty bullish on ET, hitting the upper Bollinger Band again right here, just barely missing it, that is. And so if that can continue moving up, we've got about 70 ticks to go through. It might actually keep going up. If it ends looking solid, it'll keep going up. But if it ends pulling back, that means that they're going to keep selling off to kind of push it back down. So hoping for this to actually make a move going up. Sitting at 68 cents, it's already increased in value. Hit the top Bollinger Band, starting to pull back though. Got another 20 ticks for it to fill in, so if it can just remain looking, or 10 ticks, just got to fill in there. Just push up, not down. Let's push down. We've got 8 ticks exactly. Now we've got 4 ticks exactly. Up. Okay. It pushed down and started a new candle, but it looks like it's filling that in immediately. So that's a good thing. There is a Bollinger Band right here that's coming down to meet it. So it looks like it might be trying to go up to hit that, and then if it looks like it's trying to get to the same area before it dip down. So if we can just maintain that that pattern, if it can maintain going sideways right here down so far. So again, through its rotation, if you will, not even halfway, it's like a quarter of the way through its rotation. So you've already seen what it can do in a quarter of the time. It basically high, it's starting to see resistance bounce off that high. It's going to go down and reaccumulate and then run back up for the high. So we've still got 3 quarters left of this movement to go and make it to do it. Basically, it took about an hour to do the first quarter, and so now we've got 3 times that to finish it up. So you can imagine that it can really make some progress here, even if it takes a dip down quarters. It can come down, come back up to the exact same spot it's at right now, and then have the last quarter to run for a new high, which is the end of the day. And so that's why we run that. That's why we divided our chart up the way it is to kind of take a look at it from that point of view. And so it wouldn't even be a bad idea to look at it from like an hour and a half point of view, because then you have to go from there. But I'm not going to look at that today. Let's see. We've got 15 minutes left before it goes straight into lunchtime. So I imagine it's probably going to continue trying to be bullish up until then. So let's see. It does look like it's fizzling out here. Let me look at my 10-minute. Looking very bullish on the 10-minute chart. Definitely curving upwards really nicely. RRR is starting to make a run back up. It's up 25 cents from where it was earlier. ENBL is now 10 cents up higher than it was earlier, so that's good. CWK looking very bearish at 16 cents, but again, we're not really typically worried about it because it is just now coming down off that line, so it's going to go into accumulation. Right now it looks like it's trying to find its feet right here, right before the bottom of this this node right here. So it looks like it's going to start to accumulate and run up for another, or it just went red, so maybe it's going to come back and touch this node completely or fulfill this node down here at 1815 and then continue moving up. Either way, it's going into accumulation. This was the distribution that runs into accumulation, so this is called reaccumulation. And so it's just going to curve going up to try to go for that high right there. So not really particularly concerned with it. Really, the hour right now is ET. Is it going to hit a new high? Is it going to make it up there to that $9.82, or is it going to come back down and reaccumulate and try to make a run for it again later? And so that's what we're looking at right now. Account's still sitting almost at $1,100. Not a bad place to end it. It's very tempting to go ahead and pull it all out right here and then wait for a better place to get in. Which would probably be the safer bet to run, but I still think there's some juice left to get. So what we got? EMBL is at or above the 825 mark. So let's take a look at EMBL. It just triggered my alert there. So now we're sitting above this area, and we have to decide, is it going to continue going up? And so this is a pivotal moment for EMBL. So now we need to make a post for EMBL. Let's go here, that, and then let's make a post. Jesus, I wish I could spell. Can't spell. I don't know how to spell pivotal, but whatever. Got some responses here. Let's see what they're saying. Everyone likes the Amazon call. Of course they do. Who wouldn't? Let's take a look at it. Let's see. Sucking back up on this candle. Let's change this to a daily so we can really see what's going on with it for the day. Looks like it's found its support right there. It's getting ready to go long. Could come back down. Just could be a push up in order for it to come back down to find that low that it's supposed to do. But we shall see. Tesla coming back up, sucking back out. Now it's using that support line as resistance. So it's just going to reaccumulate to gather its strength to come back up into that area. So not a big deal there. Still looking really strong. I mean, let's see. CWK. Let's get back to this chart here. EMBL showing a blue candle here, which means it's coming down. So it could find resistance right here and start falling from here. Or it could gather up some strength and pop up and keep going for a new high, which is what we want. ENBL sitting at 70 cents again, so it might be a good place to take some profits. I don't know. Do I be greedy and try to hold out for the dollar, which I think is what I should be able to get throughout the end of the day? Or do I go ahead and take my profits, my 70 and get out? So that's what we struggle with. But like I said, we've divided this day up to give us 4 quarters, right? So we've got 3 quarters left after it hits 12 o'clock, which gives it plenty of time for it to do whatever it has to do. And going down takes half the time it does to go up. So keep that in mind. We could see this go up and come back down before the end of the day. So just need to give it some time to breathe and let it run. At 12 o'clock, if it's not doing anything inspiring, I'm probably going to go and make some lunch. I'm going to leave this running, but I'm going to take a break and go get some lunch, so that way I'm here when it does decide to make a move. So I'm going to put a note here. Actually, I might end the stream, start it back up when I come back from lunch break, because that'll trigger some new, it'll put me back up in the lead, the working algo to get more streamers to pay attention to what's going on. Plus I want to change my title and everything, so I'm probably just going to end it there.
To satisfy demand for takeout, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
You do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the Volvo S6
And if you're
plug-in hybrid.
typing to me in chat and I'm just not getting it, I'm sorry. I see you sitting there, but I don't see anything in chat, so just throwing that out there in case you are trying to communicate with me.
So you can enjoy moments like this. The Volvo S6
ENBL sitting
plug-in
at 70 cents, RRR sitting at 68 cents.
Tap the banner to learn more.
ET probably sitting at 65 cents. There's a red candle coming down on that one. So this is probably going to bounce off this area. Should I sell at the 70 cent? Because it's probably not going to get past that for the day.
Core Power Pro
fueled by 26 grams of high-quality
that would be $60
So add those
short
extra reps
of
and run that extra
what I
mile.
wanted to
So when
buy
your workout
on
ends,
2
ours
options,
begins. Work hard,
120
recover
short
harder
on
with
4
core power.
options. At 75 cents, it would be 3 times what I spent to get into it. So sitting at 300% profit if I did that. I thought it just says, but that's for the day though. What should I do? I'm just gonna let it sit. 5 minutes left. Oh, what is this? You're out. Cancelled order. Okay. Go to my monitor here. Just see what it's talking about. I still got 10 positions there. Still got 6 positions here. That's sitting at 14.58. It's not worth diddly squat. If I was to make a create a closing order here, that would put me at, right now its net value is nothing, so definitely couldn't do that. NXTD sitting in the exact same position as all the other ones. I forgot this option call here to close for it to be priced at anything other than what it's at, basically. RRR. Look at this reaccumulation run right here. So like I said, 0 volume as it starts to do reaccumulation right here. Could set up for a really strong move if it decides to run. Let's see, ET looking strong. Now, here's the other thing I have to contemplate too. Every day it's been sitting positive on all of these. You know, to pull any of these contracts out now could be shooting myself in the foot because I'm not really shown a negative day in a couple of weeks. Not anything worth really worrying about. So that's the other thing, is that there's some momentum here that could keep going and I could be shooting myself in the foot. But if I sold every single one of these at $1, then I would have more than quadrupled my account. And that would be very stupid of me not to take a position out on those. So logically speaking, setting it to $1, and if it even gets close to that on the option call, taking a position, half my positions out at that price would be the smartest thing possible to do. And so that's what we're aiming to do today, is at least try to get some of these to come out at $1 to cover my costs. Alright, RR sitting at 68 cents. ENBL upgraded to 73 cents again. So now we're starting to see ENBL starting to get some volatility. And by that I mean, as it's coming down, the value of it's going up, which means that there are a lot of people who are trying to get in on this now to try to take advantage of this opportunity of it coming down, because they're seeing it as a good value. People are starting to look at this and saying, hey, this is probably worth, like, you know, it's worth double what it is, like that guy said. So therefore, maybe we should take a position because it's only going to double from where it's at right now. Kind of makes sense. You know? And so if it's gonna double, it's already seeing this healthy move to reaccumulate right here, and it's gonna go for a high. Look at this. This candle's starting to become very bullish with low volume, which is what we want. We can you can see this thing become parabolic and catapult up. We're not out of the woods yet, and we can definitely come down, but just saying, it's definitely lined up to keep going if it wants to. It's at a very key point right here. It has to break through this resistance, which it already did. It's sitting on top of it right now. You can tell by that wick right there where it pierces through it, and this line's exactly at it. So I didn't make this stuff up in this line before that candle was ever made. I drew this line when there was only 2 candles down here showing. And so, you know, this is a very pivotal point right here, and that wick's kind of showing that right there, that it's respecting this area. And so it's already sitting on top of it. The work is already done. All retail has to do is just get behind this thing and push it up. That's it. If retail starts fighting for whatever contracts are left in the market, this thing will start shooting up like a rocket. But it's really up to retail for them to do that. Institutional buying has already done their job. Retail has to just finish it. That's all. It's like institutional buying sets up the, you know, the thing to knock over. It's like the blow up. All you have to do is just come up. Retail just has to come up and punch it. That's it. You know, and then when retail punches it, it responds back by bouncing back up. So that's all that has to happen. Is just waiting for retail to punch it. Today is a very good day for me, just because I've spent the last 6 years in a dark hole, financially ruined because of my acquired savant syndrome. And 9 months ago, I saw something in the market that I knew was something different that people don't talk about. And I've spent my last 9 months 12, 14, 16 hours a day looking at the markets, preparing myself for this. And I spent almost 8 months of it in futures. And then I lost everything. And I went to options, and then all of a sudden it just clicked. And everything just kind of came together. And then I found Wyckoff, and then that was filling in the missing pieces. And so then I've been trading on a $500 account because that's all I had left. And I got into options, and this is starting to come together the way that it should have came together in futures. And the problem with futures, I wasn't ready emotionally to handle crossing a freeway at 100 miles per hour while I'm on my feet, crossing it on my feet, you know? And I just couldn't make those decisions at that fast of a pace and be emotionally ready for them, and understand them. Whereas this, on options, I can actually take it and digest it and really understand it and, you know, react to it. And so that's why I like options, is because you can actually really, it's like after dealing with futures for 8 months, options is like looking at the frozen in time to me. It's like it literally is just frozen, because it's nothing compared to the way futures moves. Futures move so fast that it's like staggering, really. It really is staggering how fast it moves. I heard beeping. So anyways, playing the options and playing the market is my cure to my financial woes. And probably stupid, to be honest, because it doesn't really pan out that way for the average person. But for me, not that I'm better than the average person or anything like that, I just see something different, and you know, I've learned to listen to this thing that's happened to me and use it to better myself. And now I'm able to teach other people how to do that as well. And so that's, I don't know, it's just a big step. It's a big step for me. You know, to think that one day I'll be able to sustain myself financially while playing options and not having to depend on somebody else is to be in control of my destiny and my financial future. Because that was what was the problem before, was that I was working for people that had no idea, you know, how to sell cars. They just were born into it or made stupid money back in the day in the car business, and now they make their decisions based off the things that they learned from the past, but the car business isn't run like that anymore. And so, you know, when I'm doing exactly what I need to do, and I've got, you know, the financing bank coming to visit me to figure out what I'm doing, and I've got, you know, the parent company's representatives for like the manufacturer that we're representing coming to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm killing it in these areas that nobody else is. You know, I'm doing good things for everybody involved, even the dealership, for profits, and they're looking at me like, you know, the guy who's, it's just completely asinine. But whatever. But that's the kind of stuff that you run into in the car business, is you're not in control of your destiny in the car business. All right, so it is 12:06. It is stagnated right here. It's not really moving anywhere, and so I'm gonna go ahead and get lunch. I do like how everything is looking right now. Nothing is really looking bad. Everything is looking exactly the way I think it should. So I'm going to go ahead and take my break, get something to eat, and I will be back. Thank you for